times and that kind of thing. Little stories that you tell kids before they go to bed at night. But one thing I learned about those things, everybody enjoys a good fairy tale. Everybody enjoys a good story about overcoming something, or how the prince kisses the princess and she wakes up out of a 20-year sleep or whatever. That kind of thing. And we believe these things when we're kids because, we have the capacity to believe fantastic and wonderful things. The thing is that with fairy tales, especially like far-fetched ones like, cats wearing boots and a woman throwing down a half a mile long hair and having a prince climb up that with her not screaming her head off, that her hair is being pulled from the bottom of a tower for about 15 minutes so he can rappel his way up. Anyway, after a while we kind of start dissecting facts from fiction and like, okay, that's not really real. However, there actually is one tremendously popular fairy tale that we believe, I think, up through adulthood in many cases. I mean, and I'm talking about me on this one actually. I very much believe the fairy tale that was told me when I was growing up, and I think a lot of people do. A lot of people don't even realize it's a fairy tale until it's too late to really act on it. And I'll tell you what it is. They tell us in school when we're little that if you work really hard, you do really well, you get really good grades, A's and B's, then at some point you're going to go to college. And then when you go to college, you work really hard, get really good grades, and then you get a college degree. And from there, you'll be able to get a job. And when you get that job, then you'll be able to get money, and you'll be able to live your life pretty much the way you want to live it. That's it. That's the fairy tale. Yeah. And the thing everybody loves about it is that it's a story starring them, and it's very hopeful that if you just a very simple formula. You make the grades, you go to college, get the diploma. Get the degree from college, yes. And then you can get the job with the degree. Now the crazy thing is that at some point I'm sure that fairy tale actually had some merit to it, but it actually has become a fairy tale in this generation considering where we are. Because thing is, anybody that's been to college and graduated with a degree without the major connections can tell you. For example, I can tell you that's not the way it works. You are absolutely, I would never disparage anyone from getting a college degree. Get that. If you can get it, get it. Because you are so much better off having it. But there is no guarantee on that job anymore. Marriage, education. Education is a very important thing, especially in America. Because amazingly enough, there are some other countries out in the world where education really isn't that big of a thing. There are countries out there, industrialized countries, many of them, where a vast majority of their adult population can't even read and write on the level of an American 8th grader, and yet their economy runs just as smoothly as you please. But in America, we definitely highlight education. We definitely highlight the academic, non-academic thing, and we teach our kids these things. The only way to really shift off of this is to kind of fix the problems that are in the educational system and get people more, I guess you could say, prepared to live in a real world. Because if you look at it, school does not prepare you to live in the real world. I mean, in my personal opinion, if middle schools and high schools were run using the same basic formula as say a university or college, just with more basic information, I think that we'd actually get a lot more done with that. That's a major paradigm shift because anyone who goes to college, they'll tell you it is an entire different experience than grade school and high school. That's actually one of the real reasons that a lot of people that I know personally who didn't go to college didn't want to go to college, because they said because their basic thing was, I just spent 12 years going through this crap. I don't want to do it anymore. But you get to college, it's a whole different environment. In college there are no ringing bells. There are no periods that you have to be here, have to be there. There's no determined lunch hour. There's no real standardized curricula that you absolutely have to follow. There are no standardized tests. You know, there is no LEAP like we have in Louisiana. There is no math like they have in Missouri. No, they don't do that in college. In college, you are a young man, you are a young woman. You go to your counselors. You tell them what you are aspiring to do. You tell them what degree you're aspiring to get, and they map out what classes you need in order to qualify to get that diploma. That degree. I'm sorry, to get that degree. And you are basically you are the master of your own fate from that point on. You have to take such and such classes, and it's your responsibility to take those classes. Your responsibility to do the work. I remember my first year in college. I had a math teacher that threw me all the way off balance. He said, "Look here, I'm gonna give you guys homework every day that you have classes. You're in class Mondays and Wednesdays, and you will have a homework assignment every single day. I will never collect this homework assignment. I'll never ask you if you did it. I will never grade you on a single thing. If you do the homework or not, I'll never even know. I'll never even have it on any records that whether you did homework or not." That night, that whole week, I did homework. I went home to my mom. I told her I got math homework, but I'm not doing it because I don't have to. Come to find out, a couple weeks later, we had our first test, and I was doing the classwork. I didn't do any of my homework, but it turns out that the teacher actually had taken the math problems that were in the homework, word for word, number for number, off the homework and put them in random order on the test. Guess how well I did on that test? So yeah, they don't treat you like a baby in college. They treat you like you're grown. They treat you like an intelligent human being. Like you want to be treated like an adult. This is how adults are treated. I'm not hovering over your shoulder. I'm not, penalizing you here and there to get you to step in line. This is your assignment. If you do it or don't do it, is on you. If you don't do it, then you fail. If you do it, then you pass. Either way, I'm a professor. I'm getting my check in either case. And if actually they ran schools better like that, then we probably would be doing much better as far as getting students prepared for real life. Because with the growth of standardized testing, with standardized curricula, they're not really teaching kids anything anymore, except how to be ready to take a standardized test. And that's not the way life is lived. There is no LEAP and MAP test in real life. There are bills in real life. There are expenses in real life. There are decisions to be made in real life. There is time management, resource management. You learn those kind of things taking classes in college because those kind of lessons are ingrained in the way that you're taught, in the way that you're scheduled, in the way that you handle your business. Because when you're in college, most times you have to balance classes, grades. You also have to balance how you're going to work a job to help you pay for these things. You also have to balance how you're going to manage your food budget. You also have to balance how you're going to work your job around your class schedule. You have to learn all these things in college because all those ingredients are presented with you, and you have to do them basically on your own. There are some counseling sessions, there are some things to help out here and there, but for the most part, you have to learn how to do these things on your own. And if they prepared you a little bit better in that same manner, not to that extreme, of course, because you're still dealing with teenagers and kids in middle school and high school, but if you handle a situation like that better in those earlier grades, I think we'd be better able to handle life. And maybe by the time that we got out, then we would be able to get things we need to get, like jobs and resources and finance. We'd be able to network better. We'd be able to handle ourselves and collaborate with other people better than we're doing right now, because the system as it is really isn't working. And I could explain reasons why it wasn't working, but I got one better for you. It actually is a professor who did some work with the RSA, and I'm going to drop a link in the description bar below. You can go and look at that later. It's about 12 minutes long. It's on a RSA animation thing, so it's pretty cool to watch. It's actually very informative. So I'm gonna hit you guys with a link for that. Alright, friend, I'm about to be out. So like, favorite, subscribe. My Facebook and my Twitter is in the description bar below. Alright, and please check out the video I was telling you guys about. It's a link for that is in the description bar also. Just remember, family, be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. Alright, peace.